how did the Empire survive? Why isn't Luke, you know, a hero anymore? I'm guessing he's not, since he's not in any of the trailers. Is he a bad guy? I really, really doubt it. I don't think he is a bad guy. That's kind of a dumb theory. But, I mean, who knows? I could be proven totally wrong. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm really excited to see, you know, where each of the characters are after all this time. My name's Chris Scott, 21 years old. I go to school at Berry College. I live in Knoxville, so we are currently in the house I went to high school in. I remember like watching it like every morning for months, or like every other day, and just seeing the Lucasfilm, logo come up on the screen. I was probably like 5, 6 years old, and I remember telling my mom like, "Hey mom, like that's gonna be me one day. Like I'm gonna be like that's gonna be my name one day." Of course, I don't know what I was saying. I was like 5, but so that's always a good memory. And then just growing up, with the prequels coming out when I was young, I didn't know what. Of course, when I was young, I loved those movies. I didn't know what good acting and good writing was, and they're still enjoyable today. Like last night, I watched Attack of the Clones, and even though I recognize big problems with it, I still enjoyed watching it. Still has like a rich story, rich mythology. And then growing up, with the toys, and then fighting my brother in the backyard with lightsabers when we were like 8 years old. All of that, Halloween, dressing up as Yoda when I was little. My cousins were huge fans, and we bonded over with the Star Wars. Yeah, I guess it sort of begins back in 2012 when Lucasfilm was sold to Disney, and we all realized that we were going to get more Star Wars movies, which of course, up until that point, seemed impossible. So yeah, I guess it's been 3 years, and then just hearing all the news coming out, the trailers and the casting announcements, and the director was J.J. Abrams, and the mystery behind what the story was going to be about, all that kind of stuff. It's been a fun ride. If anyone says they know what's going to happen, like if there's like a leak, which has happened the past few weeks, I tend to avoid those because I want to go in as blank as possible.
Dude from Madhouse and it was amazing.
And I mean, several thousand people have already seen the movie now because it's been premiered in London and in the LA, and I even have a friend who's already seen it because she's part of the press. So I definitely stay away from all of that. I don't watch any of the new trailers. It's just too much footage that I don't want to see. They announced the actual hour that they were going to be, released to the public, and it was the same night as they released like the major big trailer, and they released them hours early, and I was unaware. So I went on Fandango, and of course, Fandango was crashing. Every other ticket website was crashing, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get a ticket to the premiere because it's probably sold out already. Probably sold out in minutes." But then I get a call. My phone starts buzzing, and I get a call from John Widener, who was my friend I go to see all the premieres with, and I thought he was calling me to freak out and tell me that he didn't get tickets either. But I picked up my phone and I said, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he said, "I got you a ticket to the premiere," and I couldn't believe it. It was just like. So it was a pretty cool moment. I didn't just see my friend give me a ticket, and when I thought that I wasn't going to be able to see it during the premiere, so that was that was a really fun moment. Yeah. So thank you, John. I just want to have that old Star Wars feeling again. It's kind of hard to explain, but anyone who's seen the movies and enjoyed them knows what I'm talking about. Specifically, what things I want to see, I can't wait to see Han Solo and Luke Skywalker back on the screen. Luke, of course, has been hidden from all the marketing stuff, so that moment when he comes back on screen after 40 years, 30 years, is going to be pretty crazy. I'm sure the whole theater is going to go absolutely wild when they see Luke again on screen.
I'm fine, thank you. I'm good.
I mean, it's almost hard to explain just how big Star Wars is. And people never thought they'd see Han or Luke or Leia or Chewbacca again, Millennium Falcon. So these are huge characters. These are icons in cinema, icons in culture across the world, internationally. So getting to see these characters come back and be in the story again is just mind-blowing if you think about it. I mean, 30 years later, these same people are still alive. They're still acting. They're going to be in the movie. All of them are back. So just that fact alone is just crazy to think about. But it's definitely, I guess, it's always been part of my life in some way. When I was little, pretty much the only books I read were Star Wars books. As I got older, it kind of like died down a little bit. When I was little, I loved the action figures. I loved all the toys. I remember for Christmas, it was like for several years, it was like always like a Star Wars Christmas, like the Legos, the action figures, the books, all that stuff. I remember like when I've gotten older, it's gone down a little bit. But I remember like I went to New York City. I went to this rare poster shop and I found this Empire Strikes Back poster from the '80s. Like it was like an original one. I bought it just because it's always had that kind of like special place in my life. It's such a classic story, everyone wants to be pulled out of mediocrity, of a mundane life, and placed into this fantastical world with a mission and a purpose, and this gallery of different characters and people. And that's what Star Wars is, everyone can relate to Luke Skywalker, discontent with his life, going on to some new thing, discovering that he has a new purpose, that he's special. Everyone can relate to Han Solo, not wanting to be a rule follower always, wanting to be a sort of, the ladies' man, the rogue. And then of course Princess Leia, all girls, can aspire to be independent and, not needing to be rescued necessarily, but saving themselves from time to time and being a leader. And it's all those things, but those alone can be found in, tons of movies, tons of stories, but when you wrap it all within this incredible world, or worlds, if you will, with all these different aliens and creatures and incredible music, and just special effects that were ahead of its time, and it's just sort of a story that everyone can get behind. Even people that don't like science fiction, like for instance, my older brother hates science fiction, but he loves Star Wars. Why? Because it's the rich mythology behind the universe. When you watch the movie, you can always tell that this is just one story within a larger universe, within a larger world, and it just captures the imagination unlike pretty much anything else. It's just something truly special.